Hey, what's going on, Cashflow hackers? It's Chris with Life 180, and this video is kind of a follow-up to yesterday's video. It is the 2nd of January as we're filming this, or as we're going to be airing this. And on January 1st, yesterday, if you haven't watched it yet, I released a video talking about the only financial resolution that you need for 2023. We're going to cover a lot of that, but I encourage people at the end, I'll put it on the end screen, you can go check it out and watch that video to really get clarity about realizing that a lot of people try to silo off their life when it comes to their money, when it comes to their personal finances. And they try to say, all right, I just want to pay debt, or I just want to save more money, or I just want to invest more money, or I just want to do all these different things. And they don't realize how everything kind of interweaves with each other in your personal finances. And so to think you're going to be able to do one without impacting the other is kind of delusional. And it's why we talk about the importance of financial structure and financial efficiency. And so what I thought it would be great for this video and for today to kick off 2023 with some fun and some just value is bringing on my good buddy, Julian Kaler, who is also the guy who is heading up our financial efficiency division here at Life 180, helping people eliminate debt and figure out how to ultimately get to where they want to go and get on the right track as quickly as possible and as predictably as possible. So without further ado, let me bring Julian on here. So this is new technology we're using too, so it's exciting stuff. So Julian, awesome. Your first time on the channel.
Yeah, we talk all the time. You on the phone and on Zoom, but the first time you brought me on the tube, so thanks.
I know.
Appreciate it.
It's pretty cool. So so Julian, we're gonna get into this today. It's gonna be a lot of fun. For those who don't know you, kind of give them a little bit of your background if you can, because I don't just put anybody in this position. Julian's got a history of helping people with the debt stuff. He's got a history of really understanding the life insurance space, and he's really dedicated his life to this stuff in a significant way.
Sweet. Yeah. So quick, I mean, nobody knows me, so that'd be easy. So everyone's gonna learn something, right? Grew up in a small town in Colorado. I am one of 6. Was raised by a mom and a dad that really challenged us to always basically challenge everything. Don't just take anything for granted. So
Yeah.
it came very easy to us to look at finance in a different purview, especially being raised by my dad and how he looked at finance and how he raised us. We've had life insurance in our lives. My first policy was when I think I was 19 years old. My dad knew about this concept, luckily, had been selling this concept for a long time. So I was very lucky from the get-go to be able to implement this in my life. I didn't quite get it. I didn't quite understand it right off the bat. When your first finance book is Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash, you are a different breed, I think.
That's awesome.
So was raised in that. Dad ended up with a company where they were using this to teach people how to basically eliminate all their debt, teach them how to pay off their mortgages in under 9 years, including all their consumer debt, without increasing their money, but just using this as the go-to asset to do all of that, right? To be more efficient. So I've been doing that I got licensed when I was 21, didn't really do it a whole lot, but then I finally got into it. About 5 years ago. I've been doing it since then and trying to help people out and eliminate debt. And then I noticed Caleb Williams getting pretty big, started following him, went to a couple conferences, and then that's how I met up with you. And once I met up with you, I was like, okay, this is the end game. I gotta stay connected with this guy because this is where it's at. And now here I am on YouTube.
Here we are. That's awesome, man. I love it. And so if you guys ever get a chance to talk to Julian, he's just got a huge heart of service. He just loves helping people out, and we're just lucky to have him here. So what we're gonna do today is share our software and our service that we have. And it's not to try to pitch you or sell you or anything, but we're gonna be talking about concepts and principles, when it comes to financial efficiency, getting you to hopefully maybe think a little bit differently than you're thinking right now about this debt thing. Because I feel like there's two sides of the pendulum, right? There's the Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman people who, debt is evil, and if you do anything with debt, you're an idiot. And then, the other side of things where, people are just totally unregulated and unhinged when it comes to like how they manage their money and debt, and they go and they're totally irresponsible and whatever. And what we're going to show you is they're somewhere kind of right in the middle. And ultimately, I think a lot of the people that we deal with are already in debt, right? Like they're already in a position where they probably don't want to be. They're not as efficient as they want to be. They probably have too much credit card debt, too much consumer debt, too much business debt, or vehicle debt, or all these different things. And so what we're going to do today is go through and share like kind of the process and the math behind the process about helping you get from where you are now to where you want to go. And if you aren't in terrible debt, you're gonna see. I think it's still going to be relevant to being able to help you learn some things. So
Yeah.
it's really, really cool. So where do you think the best place to start is here, Julian? As far as
I think Simon Sinek would say, you got to start with why.
Yeah, I guess he would. I like it.
So why are people in debt? Like why are people in debt? That's the biggest question, and that's where you start, right? And
Yeah.
I think I break it down in 3 different aspects. I break it down in the system. The system is corrupt since before 1971. We live in a debt-based society, right? So what does that mean? That means that our dollar is debt. This is not real. This is fake, right? So when we live in a debt-based society, we have to keep printing money, which dwindles away what this is worth, taking away from our purchasing power, right? Each and every day. So that typically falls on the middle class and the lower classes of life. That's just the way things are, right? And the rich get richer. That is what it is. But we do live in this system, so we have to play by their rules, right? So the system is why we're in debt, but we can't dwell on that. We can't fix the system. We can't go to the White House and fix the problem. So what can we fix? We can fix our education, and we can fix our mindset. So our education is another reason why we're in debt. Our education, which is, there really isn't much in high school, or even my fiance has a finance degree and she doesn't know half the stuff that I'm telling her. And so, she's a commodity broker, and I'm teaching her a lot of things that she doesn't quite understand. So it's like the education's not there. Okay. And then the mindset's not there. Like I said earlier, my dad luckily raised me in a mindset to just challenge everything. That's not the case with most people. Most people don't have the mindset. So that's where you can't fix the system. Throw that out the window. It is what it is. Play by the rules. Debt-based society. So we have to take debt into our life to create assets, right? So, but we also don't want, a terrible amount of liabilities. We want to eliminate those if they're in the way. But we have to play that system to get ahead. And then we got to then we got to get educated. We got to read. And then we got to change our mindset, change our paradigm, and get on to an efficient path. So that's what I would say.
I love it, man. So what we're going to do here then is let's start. I know you've done a bit of a case study, right?
Yeah.
And let's kind of go through some of this, because I think, getting into 2023 here, I feel like a lot of people watching this are going to be thinking about how do I make 2023 my best year ever? How do I help get closer to my goals? And the challenge behind that is that there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, right? Like there's, I feel like the political uncertainty, the economic uncertainty with inflation and with the stock market, and with the real estate market, and all these different things that are going on. A lot of people are just uncertain about what the heck's going to happen and how that's going to impact them. And the beautiful part is, if you do what we're about to show you, you can basically eliminate a lot of those variables and a lot of the uncertainty. And in fact, I would argue that when you eliminate that uncertainty, it creates more opportunity, because you put yourself in a position to be what I would call an opportunistic investor, right? And so, but the problem is, this is where financial structure comes into play, right? Like you can't just get there overnight. There are things that you need to do to get there. And so this case study is going to kind of like walk us through a process, and maybe you'll resonate with some of it or a lot of it, and some will obviously connect more than others. But the bottom line is, I really encourage you to think about the different components and elements that we're talking about, and figure out how it relates to your life. So do you want to share your screen? Do you want me to pull that up?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So let's do this. Oh, hey now. So let me, boom.
You got it?
Yep, there we go. All right, I'm just learning this stuff. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna let you roll.
So Chris is the cash flow hacking king. So it's not always about cash flow. Isn't always about getting into real estate or getting into certain assets to create cash flow. We can create cash flow in our life by eliminating debt, right? By not taking on more debt. That creates cash flow as well. So this works perfectly into the cash flow hacking game. So I just did just a case study of me and my fiance. This is not real debt by any means, but I didn't really know. I didn't want to just use a client of mine. So I just, I used our name on here. So basically what this is we put all of our liabilities inside of this software. The company that we are partnering with is called Wealthy IQ. They have developed this software, and a great company. They've been helping people for years using this software. So basically what it's doing is it's running our numbers. It's putting our debts into an algorithm, if you would, and it's teaching us how to pay off our debt in the most efficient way possible, right? Because we want to get to a point where we're turning our debts into assets. We want to grow our wealth, right? So we got to get rid of the pesky stuff that's in the way. Okay. Yeah. And most people, they don't even understand basic concepts of paying off debt. They are told that they have to make this certain payment for the rest of their life, or for the next 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or whatever. And they don't actually do the research and find out like, hey, it's more efficient if I, do this snowball method, or it's more efficient if I, pay a little extra on the debt and stuff. But when it comes down to it, when you look at every strategy to pay off debt, using overfunded whole life insurance, borrowing against it to eliminate our debt is down, like bar none, the best way, the most efficient way to eliminate our debt. So that's what this is using. This software takes a policy or an illustration from whatever company we're working with. It puts our clients' numbers in there, and it teaches us how to pay off these debts. And now, instead of just paying off debt and then paying our debts and then saving what's left over to increase our wealth, we're increasing our wealth and we're paying off debt simultaneously. So that's how we create efficiency in our life.
I love it. So can you go through, do me a favor, go through like the, kind of like the parameters that you set up and so on and so forth.
What do you mean, like the parameters?
Well, just like what's the debt look like? Like give the profile of the people that you're kind of.
So, I mean, I base this all off of just average debt from an average 33-year-old married couple. So in this case, we both have a car. We have a personal loan. That personal loan could have been used for taxes or whatever. We have the Capital One. We have the Amex. We have Chelsea's student loan. We have Julian's student loan. We have a line of credit. And then we have the mortgage. Okay. So this is typical debt, which is pretty, it's a lot, but it's average. And which is a scary, scary thing. So here we see our current balance is $461,000. That's our monthly payment is $5,313 on consumer debt. Remember, none of this is really adding to our net worth, except for maybe the house has appreciated, so that might have added to our net worth. But other than that, all of this is just consumer debt, stuff that we want to get rid of, right? Yep. And then there's the interest payments. So each one has the payments here. And then when it totals up the interest in the amount of time it's going to take to pay off this, all this debt, the total interest is $226,000. So of the debt, the current balance right now of 461, 226,000 is 50%. That's the interest. 50% interest is what we're paying on our debt. That is, that is disgusting, right?
Yeah.
So totally. How can we become more efficient? How can we take some of this $226,000 and put it back into our life and create wealth with it, instead of just giving it to the Amex, and instead of giving it to Capital One and whoever owns our student loan and whoever owns our mortgage at the time? How do we get that money working for us? So we look at it and we're like, well, we might say, oh, well, $461,000, that's typical, whatever. But in reality, in 30 years, when our mortgage is paid off, that's a total of $687,000. So that's the number that really, really, really should scare people, right?
Mhm.
And then, and that's typically where we get people like, okay, what can you show me? Like, this is like, and the scary thing is, most people haven't even done this. That's where I'm talking about the education side of things. Like, you haven't even
Yeah.
added it up yet. A lot of times, and I said more times than not, this is the first time clients have seen their numbers on a spreadsheet, and that really blows their mind,
Yeah,
which is
for
scary,
sure.
right? I mean,
Well, yeah, and look at this. So when we talk about the importance of having a banking policy, and it doesn't happen overnight, but when you look at this, 49% of all your expenses are going to go into interest
right,
expense. Like everything you do, it's like 49%, almost 50%. And so when that is how banks make their money, like
right,
I think I don't want to go on like a too much of a political rant here, but like at the end of the day, the banks and the system as it exists is disincentivized for you to have this information, right? Like they don't want you to know what we're showing you right now because
right,
it means you may take control, grab the reins, and actually control the results in your own financial life and do something a little bit differently and execute in a way that rather than you give that, I mean, at 49%, how much interest expense is that? You're looking at $226,000.
yeah,
Like for every human being or household that does this, let's say this is an average family, you're looking at $226,000 being taken out of the bank's profit,
right.
right? Like that's a
And
big
put back
deal.
into your and put back into
And,
your pocket, right?
right. And so this is the thing. And so these numbers are actually really, really interesting to me, Julian, because do you know the average 65-year-old couple right now has about $270,000 in retirement savings? That's the
Jeez.
average. That's
So
disgusting,
then,
right?
so then we can. I mean, we're not going to save all $226,000, but we're going to save a lot of it, which is going to increase, increase their retirement
Totally.
amount of money they can have from retirement. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, that's insane.
And that's the importance of financial efficiency. So as we get into this, just understand that's what really drives us in wanting to teach people about this.
Right. We want to teach. I mean, like you said about the banks, this is what the banks, they don't want us to know this, right? Because the banks, they live they live on the top tier. When you think of the Robert Kiyosaki four squares, he's missing a square, and that square is not investor, it's bank, right? The bank
Yeah.
is above Robert Kiyosaki's four squares, right? So we
Yeah.
want to teach, so we want to live by the banker's rules, and we want to get rid of this in our life and become that banker, and that's how we use the overfunded whole life insurance, right?
Amen. Love it.
So this is just that exact same thing. All of our numbers put in here, but it's put in a way and how we're going to pay off each loan. So this again is the algorithm, which I don't quite understand, and how they want to pay off certain debts and everything. It's not always, the most, or it's not always the highest interest rate that wants to get paid off first, because a lot of times that's a fallacy. But sometimes it is. In this case, it is, right. So this is the exact same thing, but it's showing us when we're going to pay it off, how much money we're going to save, and then it's basically going to compare the numbers again at the bottom. So
Yeah.
here, well, I don't want to get into it just too much. You want to go to the this is just the numbers of what we're going to save here. So I'm going to unhighlight this. So instead of paying off all of our debt in 27 and a half years, we're eliminating all of our debt in 7.7 years. So in 7.7 years, all of our creditors are going to be paid back. We don't owe anything to the creditor. And then the next 2 years, 9.2 years, to replenish our policy, because we have to pay interest back to the policy, because we're taking a loan from the policy. 2 more years of that. Is
It's not
why
even
that,
two. It's like a year and a half of that.
well, yeah, year and a half of that, and then our policy is fully paid back. So
Yep.
basically, we're fully paid back into our own system in 9.2 years, rather
Completely
than
debt free and
completely debt
capitalized.
free, but not like Dave Ramsey debt free, where we're like debt free and broke. Okay, because Dave Ramsey debt free and broke is how he wants you to live.
Yeah.
We're debt free, and we've created an asset in our life that's going to grow exponentially from then on. So we now are a solvent human being, where most people just pay off their debt, they're insolvent, and then they start saving. But here we're paying off our debt, creating wealth at the exact same time, creating a more, again, financial efficiency, right? So
Yep.
we've saved $102,960. We've paid off all of our debt in 9.2 years. And at the age of 70, we're going to have $1,084,000 of death benefit, $800,000 of cash value. What did you say you had at retirement? What was the typical?
The average is 265,000.
At 65?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It changes
5,
a little bit. The numbers
right.
have changed, but between 250 and 275 is like the number kind of varies right now.
Right. So at age 70, you know, we have $801,000 of liquid cash that we can use for whatever we want. If that could be your retirement, get into whatever you want.
In an account that cannot lose money, by the way.
Right. So I'm going to go into what we did to create that. So basically, I ran the numbers
for me, Julian.
Yeah, I will.
Zoom that in. No, zoom in on the PDF. Like just zoom in on it so we can see it closer.
Ooh,
that might be a little too much. Right there. There we go.
So this is what we print out. We put the client through the system. We get their numbers. We kind of figure out where they're at, what they can save, where they can be more efficient. And it's kind of amazing what happens when you talk to these people. The other day, my brother was talking to a guy, and the guy, this is a mindset thing, right? He was spending $400 on e-cigarettes.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me.
No, I'm not. And that's the mindset thing. And it's like,
you have no idea.
Right. So he can fund a policy for $400 a month. That's a pretty awesome policy. My first policy was like $250 a month, right?
Although e-cigarettes, he's going to be rated.
Right. Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. But when it comes to the money, it's like, we gotta have the mindset, right? So you got to talk to him about that. You got to find the money. Where can we be more efficient? Sure, he might have a habit. He might be able to kick back to 200. We might be able to save him some. He might be overpaying on some insurance. We can put some money there. They're putting money into a 401k. They might be able to, stop funding their 401k and put some money in from there. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to stop funding your 401k, of course. But let's just talk about what Chris always talks about is, do your goals align with your values? And if you have an interest rate of 23.9% on an Amex and you're only earning 8% on your 401k, you're not being financially efficient. Am I right?
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah, it's an extreme inefficiency.
Yeah. So a couple of days ago, I was talking to a lady, and she's like, "Well, that's my retirement fund." And I didn't know what to say. She's like, "Well, that's for my retirement." And I was like, "Yeah, but what if I could save? What if you can have $800,000 when you're 70? Is that your retirement now too?" Or
what I would say to anybody like that, and I want to interject here a little bit, because I guarantee you there are a lot of people listening, watching, who are saying that same exact thing to themselves. It's like, I don't want to leverage my retirement money to pay off. Like, that's my retirement money. That's like, it should be just completely secure. I want everybody to understand that money is money is money is money is money. It doesn't matter. It's your lifestyle. What got you here is not going to get you where you want to go. And if you want different results in your life, you need to start doing things differently. And so, think about it. You are in this debt, you are in this position, and maybe you have retirement income saved, but I guarantee you, if you keep compounding your retirement account and then keep compounding your debt problem, and you don't deal with that gap, you're not going to get where you want to go. This is a reason why 95% of Americans are unable to maintain their standard of living when they hit retirement, or are not on track to maintain their standard of living, because of the fact that there are these massive gaps. And I just really encourage everybody to think, like, it doesn't matter if you're talking about your debt or your retirement account. At the end of the day, you're going to retire. And if you don't handle your debt before, you're going to deal with it with your retirement money after you've already had years and years and years, if not decades, of inefficiency. So just handle it, learn new principles, do what we're going to show you here, and your life will be completely different. And you'll have 100% control, 100% control of the results in your life, with less risk, more predictability, and it's going to put you in the driver's seat to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And you will align your money with your values and beliefs.
So it comes down to what you said in the very beginning of the video. It's like, it's not about, I want to invest more, or I want to save more, or I want to do this more. It's like, it's all one efficient system, and we just have to control our capital. And when we control our capital, that efficient system works together, and we become, more efficient. That's the whole purpose.
Yep.
So Yeah, you're spot on. So right here, this is where we're just talking to a client. Obviously, they're already sold at this point, probably, or pretty close. And we just go through the mindset. Obviously, this is the rule number one of money, is just to pay yourself first, right? To be more efficient, we want to pay ourselves first, right? And then build an asset while we're paying off liabilities. So we have liabilities in our life, but we also want to be building that asset at the same time. Don't pay off your debt and then whatever's left over we're building the asset with. No, we're going to build the asset simultaneously, right? And then we talk about it's not what you make, it's how much you keep. So that comes back down to what I was talking about earlier, right? Just more efficient mindset tools to just understand what we're actually doing here.
Yep.
This again is that same transfer of wealth. You get your check, you're paying your taxes, you got your debt, right? This is where the banks want you. They want you right here, paying credit cards, paying the mortgage, paying the loans, paying for furniture and toys. Furniture and toys are not necessarily necessary, but we have them, right?
We all like them.
And then whatever's left over, we're going to build our wealth with, right? Like, that's the system that 90, or I wouldn't say 90% of us live, but a lot of us live here, right?
I bet it's more than 90% of people live that.
Yeah, that could be. So we want to break that cycle. We want to do things different. And what we want to do is we want to put money into our capital optimization account, is what Wealthy IQ call it. It's just overfunded whole life insurance. That's all it is, right? And we're using that. We're paying our debt simultaneously. We're not, and remember, it's not like we're going to go get a second job and we're working Walmart nights and McDonald's second job. Like, this is the same amount of money that we have. We're just being more efficient with it. Okay. We're funding the policy like we should. We're probably saving money in a savings account or funding your 401k, whatever. We're funding the policy with that money. We're paying off debt, and then we're building wealth at the exact same time. So when the debt is paid off, we finally have something to go ahead and live the rest of our lives with. Okay. So we're just getting ahead of the curve. And then these are just, this is, if you follow Chris's channel, you understand the attributes of overfunded whole life insurance and what it's going to do for you in your life. And then the vehicles that we see in the world that aren't necessarily going to get you there again. Again, putting your money in a 401k when you could be using that money to fund a policy to get out of debt. The stock market, putting your money in the stock market. Oh, it's going to go up. It's going to go up. It's going to go up. Mutual funds, IRAs, right? These are tools. They all have reasons for their use. But if you're in a place of a lot of debt, this is the wrong tool, right? We don't want to use this tool. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. This is a little bit more of the, it's just a slideshow. It's a little bit more of the sappy stuff, but let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay. So $12,000. So that's the money that I'm funding this policy with. That's $1,000 a month. Okay. So I went over the clients, and this is fake, obviously, but we went over the client's income. Both Chelsea and Julian were both working. They both bring in decent money. They have way too much debt. They were putting some money in a 401k. They were putting money in a savings account. They were paying extra on their mortgage. They were paying extra on their credit cards because they didn't have an idea of what to do. We found all that money, and all that money combined can equal $12,000 a year. So that's a pretty healthy policy. So we're going to use that $12,000 a year to get out of this debt. Now, I think there was some front-loaded cash. I think maybe $5,000 we'll see here when we see the when we see all the numbers broken down. But that's what that capital optimization number is our $12,000
annual.
Yeah, annual. So again, here it is. And everyone's different, obviously, right? We can do this with $250 a month. We did a policy the other day for $300 a month. Like, it's not like you have to have this large amount of money. It's whatever money we can use, however much money we can control, that's what we want to control. Right. So it's not about, you have to wait till you make $12,000 a year or save. That's not it. Okay. So again, it just goes over, all the debts, how much interest we're going to be paying, when we're going to be paying it off. And then it kind of just shows it in a bubble, which makes it even more scary for me. It's got 687,000 of real debt, right? Total is 460, but the real debt is 687 if we stay on this system.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So then we go into what we do. Okay. So we are basically combining the debt snowball with overfunded whole life insurance. Now, debt snowball is a very effective way to pay off debt. Super
Sure.
effective.
Yep.
But the problem with debt snowball is the money's just sitting there when it's not being used. Okay. It's just sitting there and growing. And if you're Dave Ramseyite, it's sitting in a shoebox, or it's sitting in the ice maker, whatever he talks about, whatever. So we're putting that money to work because, like a bank doesn't hang on to their money. They loan it out. They get rid of it, right? So we want to get rid of it. We want to use it. We want to do something with it. So the money that we're saving, we're putting into the policy. The policy is working our money. So now our dollar is not just sitting here losing value because the banks keep printing money and our purchasing power is decreasing. No, we're actually putting it to work for us, right? Inside of a policy, getting some sort of interest.
Yeah.
Not only that, you're creating the death benefit. So you're getting all the controls of life insurance, the protection, obviously we have leverage, liquidity. We're getting everything with life insurance, just like we would if it was sitting in a bank account. So this basically, again, it shows us that same exact thing and how we're going to pay off this debt. So basically, and again, everyone's different. So what we're doing here, years completed, and a third of the year through is when we're going to pay off this Amex. That Amex, the amount payoff is going to be $12,557. So what we're doing there is we're taking a $12,557 loan from the policy, paying off that debt, and now we are going to be taking the payment on that debt, which was $395, and paying our policy loan back. Okay, so we're not changing our lifestyle. That's another mindset thing. We're not changing our lifestyle. Oh, great. Thanks, Julian. You saved me $6,914 in interest. I can go, buy this now or do that. No, sorry. Yep. You're in a situation that you need to fix. So we're taking that $395 and we're going to act like we're in that exact same situation. We're not going to increase our lifestyle. We're taking $395 and we're paying our loan back. We're paying the insurance company back, right? At the same time as we're paying that $1,000 a month into our policy. Okay.
And because you borrowed against a policy, the money that you borrowed against and you leveraged is going to continually grow and earn guarantees and dividends every single year, uninterrupted. That is the power.
Amen. So we keep doing that. And this is where the snowball effect comes in. And we call them cumulative tailwinds because when you think about a plane, you think about like me or this person is in a plane and they have a bunch of headwinds, and those headwinds are all their debt. So we're now taking those headwinds one at a time and we're turning them into tailwinds. So that $395 is now pushing our plane forward a little bit more. So that's why it's called a tailwind. Then we do this exact same thing again, right? Years completed, 1.3 years later, or 1.3 years into the policy, which means we're going to take we're going to have paid 15 payments on this Capital One. So there was 69 total payments left. On payment 15, we are going to owe $12,270. So now we've replenished our policy back. We have enough money to pull out a loan of $12,270, pay off that Capital One card, and now we've saved ourselves $4,254 of interest. But not only that, we take that $304 combined with the $395 and we roll it up, right? Now it's another tailwind, and we snowball $699 back into our policy. Okay, we're paying the loan back and we're just putting that money away, right? We're paying the loan back and then we're also paying our monthly payment. So our policy is just getting bigger and bigger, right?
Love it.
So we just keep doing that over and over and over and over again. And then we get down to the mortgage, which is typically the last because it's the longest, it's 30-year loan. So that's typically the last thing we pay off. By the time we get to the house, we're going to be pretty financially educated, pretty savvy. It might not make sense to pay off the mortgage.
Yep.
It might not make sense to take out a 4.7% loan from the life insurance company and pay off a 4.63% loan. That's going to come down to the consumer, right? That's going to come down to the client, how they feel, right? Interest rates might be low, might be able to refinance. That's a whole cash flow thing. But
and the whole world's going to be different at that point in time. You got to see what the environment is. And this is I always kind of say you are where you are because of who you are, right? Like, and your
Right.
level of understanding and your habits and your education and the principles that you understand, you're going to learn a lot and become somebody completely different with your money, your level of understanding, your level of execution, your level of discipline, your clarity that you have with your goals and your visions, and making sure that your money is in alignment with your values and beliefs, right? Like all these different things come into play. So if you started today and 7.7 years from now, you have this decision to make, or maybe 6.3 years from now, you have a decision to make, you know,
Yeah.
I guarantee you it's going to be an easy decision to make at that point in time, because
Right.
between now and then, your level of growth is going to be exponential. We talk
Right.
about the power of compounding with money, right? When we're saving, we don't talk about the danger of compounding with debt, which is what this kind of solves, right? And
Mhm.
we also don't, unfortunately, think about the power of compounding with our own personal development and growth.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
this literally solves all three of those together.
Yep. So we just continue to do all of that, right? Until we get to the point where we've freed up, we just keep paying off all our debts using our life insurance policy to get to the point where we freed up $5,313, right? So that's the total amount of money we're putting into debt a month.
Yep.
Now, like I said earlier before we started this, is we've created cash flow without even getting, I mean, yeah, we've created the asset, but we didn't have to get into real estate. We didn't have to buy dividend paying stocks. We didn't have to buy Bitcoin. We've created cash flow in our life without any of that, just by eliminating debt. So we eliminate the debt. We've saved a total of $117,000 in the 7.7 years.
Mm.
5,000 of free cash flow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an annual cash flow increase of $63,000. So now you're in a position, if let's say your income didn't go up at all, now you're in a position that you're now making more money to do certain
Yep.
things with. And
Yep.
7 years is a long time. You're probably, by the time 4 years down the road, you've got rid of all this debt, you've freed up more cash flow. You can be taking that cash flow, if you're not using all of it to pay off your debt, we could be getting into other assets. Who knows?
Yep.
Right. So
Yep.
we could be even in a better situation here, or we
Totally.
could be in a worse situation where you might have had to get a second car because your kid turned 18, or a third car, or you might have, had to do a couple other things. Who knows? But that's
Sure.
the cool thing about the software. It's very flexible. You just call me, you call your agent, and we adjust this, and we still give you a plan, right? You still have
Right.
something to look at and say, man, this is what I'm looking forward to, even though
Yeah.
you might have some hiccups along the way.
Now, yeah, it's awesome,
Yeah.
dude. I love it. I love it. Keep going.
Yep. So basically this shows you a little graph of, what your life looks like if you don't implement this system. Your lost opportunity costs are, you don't save the $102,000, you don't accumulate $2 million in 70 years, and you don't have $801,000 of liquid cash value in 7, or by the time you're 70. So your total lost opportunity by not implementing a system is $3.285 million. That's insane. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So by doing that, this is what we've created. By using this system, this is what we can create for you. We save you the $102,000. We pay off all your debt in 7.7 years. We have a total wealth accumulation of $2.38 million. We have liquid cash value of $800,000, and we've created legacy of $1 million. That's so,
Love
I
it.
don't think people understand the whole legacy side of things, right? I mean, why do you think the Rockefellers are who they are? Because they pass on these death benefits over and over and over and over again. You have now created a system where you can pass on $1 million. That's amazing. Get your kids
Mm-hmm.
starting off on the right foot, right?
Yep.
So, this is just another way of showing, how we're going to pay off your debt. Right here, we're going to have paid a total of 39 payments on, the personal loan. Well, when it's $18,000, we're going to pay it off. So it's just another way of breaking it down. If the other one doesn't work for you, but this is just showing our policy information with the savings money and how we're paying it off and what we're taking out. Just a balance sheet of what we're taking out of the policy each year.
What you're borrowing against the policy.
What we're borrowing against, what our end of the year balance is and everything.
Yep.
And then this savings account is just a side account that is showing that you are saving that money, that $5,000 a month. You're saving that in a savings account, And that's, that's part of that accumulation of $2 million. Now, obviously, when we get to a point where you're saving, $60,000, we're already probably going to have implemented a second policy or possibly even a third policy, right? So this is probably unrealistic. This money will probably be in another policy. Once you see how efficient these things work for you, you're not going to be putting money in a bank account. And I tell my clients all the time, my banker probably thinks I'm broke. I got like 5 bank accounts and there's like, 2,000 there, 4,000 there, 5,000 there. And he's like, this guy, he probably thinks I'm broke. And the reason is I don't want to keep money in the bank. I want to keep money right here because I know how efficient this thing is. Right.
Yeah.
So once our clients realize that, they're going to jump on that second policy pretty quick on their wife or on their kid or whatever. And then what does that do? It only makes this system even more efficient. So then this balances out all the way out to year 70, showing you the death benefit, showing you the cash value, the money that we can borrow against, or the money you can take out, obviously. But yeah, that's $801,000. And then that's your savings account money if you keep rolling up that $60,000 a year. But
that's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful, man.
Powerful stuff, man.
I love it. I love it. So one of the things that we do, and Julian and I did not talk about this ahead of time going into this call, so I'm totally trapping him here. But he's used to that. So these plans, like everything that we're talking about, there's a lot of time, a lot of energy that goes into that on your end, because let's face it, you got to become more organized. You got to get really dialed in with what you have going on. And I think having a coach to guide you through that is invaluable, right? And so one of the things that we're doing in 2023 is we're launching a program. It's to help you go through it. Right now, a lot of times, there's no policies to be sold immediately. A lot of times it's just work up front, and there are other things that happen. And so what we're doing is we're charging $397 to do these programs, to like take you from where you are and put into place this plan and like really have you have clarity around it. And to me, that $397 is the biggest no-brainer in the world, because it's going to help you get from where you are to where you want to go. It literally puts you in the driver's seat. I'm a huge control freak when it comes to this stuff, and I think every single person should have a plan in place that you can execute, where the only variable to your success is not some stockbroker, not what the market does, not what anything else does, but you and your ability to execute and have discipline around a plan, right? And this plan can be that to help you get where you want to go. All that said, $397, as we're just launching this 2023, New Year's, all this stuff. Julian, what do you think if we like lower that to, I don't know, I haven't come up with a number yet, 147 or something like that for the first 50 people that do it?
That'd be fine with me. Just to justify the cost of the $400.
Yep.
I always call myself a wealth strategist. I don't call myself a life insurance agent, even though I am a life insurance agent. That's what I am. Sure. But I offer people way more than just life insurance. And I'm not going to just sell you a policy and walk away. See you later. I don't talk to you again. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the same for all of our agents. We are contacting our people constantly. And especially with this debt thing, we're going to be on the phone with you. I mean, you saw how many debts there were right there. We're going to be on the phone with you. Hey, okay, let's take a loan out. Oh, well, I forgot how to take a loan out. Okay, no problem. Let me walk you through it. So we're more hands-on. We're creating a plan too. And like I said earlier, most people don't even have a plan. They haven't even seen a plan. So one, you're paying for a plan. You're paying for service from us, from the professionals at Life 180. So, I mean, the $400, it's a no-brainer. And yeah, you can say, you know what, these people are trying to get out of debt, and here you are, you're trying to charge them $400. It's like, well, they're also going to be in a 10 times better situation. So I would pay, if I can save $117,000, I'll pay $50,000. So I'm saving money, right? And
from that perspective, I don't know the number yet. I got to talk to the kind of technical team on the back end, but we can also set up monthly payment plans to make it so if the 400 up front or the 147 up front is a little too much to manage right out of the gate, which we can build in $50 a month payments or something of that nature. I don't hold me to that number. We'll work it out on the back end. But just know that if this seems kind of intriguing or something that you would benefit from, get value from, I would just encourage, don't overthink the numbers of it. We can work some of that out. We're continually working on this right now on the system side of it. But it really is a people-driven thing, not a technology-driven thing, right? Like we use the tools, we use the calculators, we use the systems. It all goes into place. You literally get a coach like Julian that goes into place for you, that's going to be there guiding you. That is what that is for, is because like the work that goes in, every single year to somebody like Julian helping you stay on track. I mean, let's face it, like the other big New Year's resolution is fitness, like health, and which has been fantastic. But how much money would you go spend on a personal trainer if you wanted to meet with them once a week, right? And what's that really going to get you? Nothing. If you go work out with a trainer once a week, you're getting nothing. You're
getting an education, man. Like
that's all you're getting, right?
You're getting an education too.
But and maybe they'll be your accountability coach. I guess different trainers are different things, so I shouldn't speak out of line there. But it is what it is to have somebody who's going to be your accountability coach, who's going to help keep you on track and really show you what you need to do to get to where you want to go. This isn't about us telling you what you need to do. This is about you saying, hey, this is the life that I want to live. This is what I want to create for the results of my life. This is where I am. And having a coach that helps you, rather than going all over the place and being all over the map and disjointed, having somebody just help you draw this nice, straight, clean line to get from where you are to where you want to go. And that is efficiency. That is what it's all about. So, just my encouragement is go down in the link in the description below. You could set up a clarity call. In the notes, just make a comment that you are looking for help with debt, and I will connect you with Julian. Nice. If you are somebody, and I think Julian right out of the gate here, until he's completely overwhelmed with people, we'll make him, he will be the person that you personally connect with and work with. And we will go from there. All you have to do is put that you are looking for help with debt. And
you can also speak on this on the agent side too. Getting agents that are already kind of helping people out. They don't have a debt solution software. We offer this to the agents as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, as an agency, Life 180 is an acronym, living intentionally for excellence. Everybody that works with us, all the agents in, 2022 was our first year really growing. It's been an amazing year as it comes to a close as we're filming this. Obviously, it's 2023 by the time you're watching it, but, we've grown a lot in agents, but our major focus is serving people. And, my passion is finding people like Julian and that want to go out and serve and literally teach people how to learn this stuff to change their lives. Because the bottom line is, I wrote about it in my new book that's coming out at the end of January, the new Cashflow hacking book. And it's like the 4 F's of life. You got your faith, your family, your fitness, and your finances. And for some reason, everybody understands you can't outsource your success with your faith, your family, or your fitness. Other people can't do the work for you. But somehow with finances, people have just been sold into this idea like, I'm just going to hire a financial advisor and they're going to take care of everything. No, that's not the way it works. The fact that people are not taught this stuff in middle school, high school, and college systematically, to me, it's not accidental, right? That's a very intentional, systematic, enslaving kind of system that makes you financial servitude, really, to the system as it is. And that's happening because of the fact that that money that you're giving to the banks, you do this, you're going to regain control of the results in your financial life. It's going to be empowering. You're going to become who you need to be. And honestly, regardless, there's no cost. I want to make this completely clear. No cost to set up a call and have a conversation with Julian. Right. That part, it's a clarity call to see if this makes sense for you. He'll ask you more questions. He'll go more personally into depth with it. And at the end of that, if you say, hey, yeah, I'm interested, I want to do this, then you can set something up and take it to the next level. But the clarity call is completely free. So my encouragement to everybody is, I don't know a person alive, including agents and consumers all the way across the board, that would not get value out of having a conversation with Julian about this. So whether you're looking to implement it in your practice and you want to go out and serve people, we are always looking for the people with the right mindset, the right heart set, and the right values that want to go out and serve people. It might be worth having a conversation to figure that out. But for everybody else, either way, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, whether you're an agent or whether you're somebody who's looking to utilize this strategy, for yourself. It definitely is going to be worth conversation. So
I always tell people, everybody needs overfunded whole life insurance in their life, but it's not for everybody, right? And that but is your mindset, your attitude to serve, like that. We want that but to change. That's the mindset part, right? It's everyone needs it, but it's not for everybody. So, I mean, I'm happy to be on the phone with anyone and everyone and hopefully get you to that mindset where you know that you need this in your life.
I'm a big believer. People way overestimate what they can accomplish in a year, and they underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. And I think what Julian just showed you there is exactly proof of that point, what you can accomplish in a decade. But
not even in a decade, it was 7 years, man.
I know, 7 years. But and I love these one-liners, right? Like, when's the best time to plant a tree? 30 years ago. The next best time is right now. Like, no matter how you feel, the best time to deal with what you're dealing with is right now, right? Like, otherwise 5 years from now, you're going to be thinking these same things to yourself. You're going to feel worse because you're going to think, man, if I'd just done this 5 years ago, life would be better. And so, if I had a nickel for every time I heard, somebody say, man, where was this 5, 10, 20 years ago? It'd be nuts. I'd have my whole room would be full of nickels, so, but anyway, that is it. You got anything else? I think that was awesome.
Man, I think it was awesome. I would just say, I would say all debt is bad, right? But when we look at it in the way of net worth, right? We can understand debt better. Okay.
Totally.
So just for instance, and this is just a quick thing, sorry. Just for instance, we bought this house for $170,000. We gutted this place, knew everything, right? Our mortgage is $170,000. Most people are like, we got to get rid of that mortgage. We got to get rid of that mortgage. We got to get rid of that mortgage. The house today is worth $350. Okay. So on a balance sheet, on a net worth side of things, I'm not in debt, right? Because it's worth more. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Just another mindset to just get you to change your mindset from the whole Dave Ramsey thing. Eliminate your mortgage. No, I'm going to hang on to this thing because, my balance sheet, my net worth is way more because of it. So we got to start thinking differently, guys. We have to start looking at things in a totally different view. If you're not going to change your mind, you're not going to change your life. So
it's all about managing cash flow. That's what it all comes down to.
Amen.
And if you can get that right, then you will win the game. That is, at the end of the day, what it all comes down to. So
amen.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, I tell you what, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. That way you're notified every time we launch a new video. Julian is launching his own YouTube channel. And so I am putting a link down below. I will link his channel in. I'll tag him in. So make sure you go follow him, check him out.
He's forcing me into it.
I'm forcing him into this. Yep. Because look at him. I mean, look, how good was he on this video? He's awesome. So he just needs to do more of this stuff. And that's my resolution in 2023 is to get Julian to start his own channel and get going. But no, so that's really exciting. I'll have that down below as well. Check it out. And that's it. If you have any questions, comment in the comment section below. I'll do my best to engage with every single one. Julian's always in there. He'll engage with you as well. But that's it. Till next video. Have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See you guys.